Tuesday, November 4th. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, Prime Minister Mark Carney's government is set to unveil its first budget today. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And teaming up, we'll chat with the folks at Medivie Health Connect to find out about their new partnership with the Blue Nose Marathon. That's a little later on.
Plus, getting ready for a cozy festive season. Designer Tori Wesser will join us to share her affordable new holiday collection that's available at Walmart. All that and so much more just ahead on the Tuesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning. Come on in. It is Tuesday, November 4th. So glad that you're here with us today, bright and early. Very, very, very rainy when I left the house this morning. Tavia's going to have your weather in a second. And it's got the latest in news. But we saw the little preview of what's coming up in the show, and I'm excited to look at that decor. It looks like Paris. Christmas is the theme that they're going for there, and I think I'm here for it.
Ooh, especially if it's there for an affordable price.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. I'm very excited about Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
It seems I just want to really embrace the holiday season. I mean, first things first. I know we've got a little ways to go, but when the time is right, I will be celebrating in a very, very, very enthusiastic fashion. Are you with me, ladies?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You definitely need the holiday cheer.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Now, rain is not necessarily everybody's idea of a good Christmas, but it is what we need right now.
Absolutely. With the drought we've seen,
Yes.
it's great to have this precipitation across the region. It's going to be a wet day ahead, and some areas seeing heavier rainfall than others. Here's a live look at Kitty Vitty early this morning. Currently 3 degrees in your area, so quite a chilly start to the day. And that's exactly what we're expecting right across Atlantic Canada today. So be prepared for the wet weather and the cooler temperatures early this morning. As of right now, 6 degrees heading outdoors in Fredericton, so much warmer than we saw yesterday morning. 5 starting off your day in Charlottetown, 7 in Sydney, 6 degrees in Halifax with 1 into Labrador City, 2 degrees over into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have special weather statements in effect across parts of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. Wind warnings as well for parts of Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. We do have a rain warning in effect for parts of Cape Breton Island, as well as a special weather statement in effect for parts of Labrador, as well as into Newfoundland. And we do have wind warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland with a rainfall warning in effect. So as you can see by that, we do have some heavier rainfall expected for parts of the region, as well as some strong winds will be picking up a little bit later on. Early this morning, quite light though, starting off your day for the Maritime region. Out of the northwest this morning, 30 kilometers per hour in Canso, 22 into Edmundston, 15 in Sydney. Only 1 wind gust at this time, getting up to 35 kilometers per hour in Edmundston. We'll have another look at your weather forecast coming up, but first a look at your local news headlines with Amanda.
Thank you so much, Latavia. And the weather is also impacting ferry service around the region, both for today and tomorrow. You can find more details on the ticker on our screen. Prime Minister Mark Carney's government is set to unveil its first budget today. Around here, those in agriculture say Ottawa could support the sector to bring down prices at the grocery store.
We're hoping that there is a food security and food affordability focus with this budget. And we see a lot of cross-pollination opportunities because so many of the transportation and infrastructure projects that would benefit agriculture benefit rural economies as a whole.
The federal government has already promised $1.25 billion for the softwood lumber industry, but the sector here and across the country will be looking for more today.
Let's use this as a moment to future-proof and future-ready our industry and to support our workers.
This will be the first fiscal update in almost a year, and Carney's first as Prime Minister. The fiscal update comes as Canada continues to grapple with the U.S. trade war. Carney has described it as a budget of both austerity and investment. Homeowners in Fredericton are being told not to expect a tax cut this year. The city is pointing the finger at the province's decision to freeze assessments for the coming year. It has left the city struggling to find dollars.
So the vast majority of property tax bills next year will be the exact same as they were for 2025. But we have seen large increases, the same as a typical homeowner would have, for lights and power, for fuel, for just regular repairs and maintenance that we see on our aging infrastructure and our vehicles.
There hasn't been a comprehensive discussion on municipal finance reform to date. That is something that the municipal sector in New Brunswick is expecting out of the current provincial government.
The assessment freeze was implemented to give the Holt government time to work on an overhaul of the property tax system, now supposed to be complete by 2027. Halifax RCMP are investigating a weekend homicide in North Preston. Police say they were called to reports of shots fired around the dinner hour Sunday. When they arrived, officers found 28-year-old Jaden Tynes with gunshot wounds. He later died in hospital. Investigators are looking for dashcam footage around Kane and Clarence Streets Sunday afternoon. A well-known maritimer, entrepreneur, and humanitarian has died. Bill Mont passed away last Tuesday. Credited with introducing the flea market concept to the region in the 1970s, he also owned an auction and real estate company, a cemetery, and other ventures. He also purchased Devil's Island at the mouth of the Halifax Harbor and saved a number of heritage properties over the years. His family notes he was a passionate animal lover and collector of pretty much everything. Bill Mont never shied away from the spotlight, appearing in more than 20 movies over the years, and was a very regular caller on talk radio programs. He lived his last 25 years at Northwood, helping seniors. Bill Mont was 96 years old. Law enforcement in St. John is asking homeowners to give them a helping hand and register their security cameras.
It saves times for us to not have to go door to door knocking to find if people have cameras. It saves time for everybody. It's better on our resources.
The Safe Neighborhood Camera Registry is a police initiative that would give police a record of cameras within the city. Those who register for the free of charge program would allow police to quickly identify cameras in an area a crime has occurred that could contain evidence to aid an investigation. The information would be stored in a database through policesolutions.ca. Police would not have direct access to the camera feeds and would still need permission to obtain video from camera owners each time. Finally, it is November, a month where men's health takes the spotlight. Dalhousie University in Halifax is shining a light on a groundbreaking program aimed at improving the lives of men living with prostate cancer. It is called the PC-PEP program, short for Prostate Cancer Patient Empowerment Program, and it's part of Dal's larger global health equity initiative. The project spans 18 grants worldwide, 6 of them here in Canada. The funding supports the Nova Scotia-based program, which helps men navigate survivorship and mental well-being after a prostate cancer diagnosis.
The impacts of this work in particular so far have been incredible. They've been able to deliver a rural men's conference and surveyed 130 participants, which is a really large number for a population like that.
Chris Bennett says while November is often marked by Movember mustaches, awareness goes beyond that, and every conversation, event, and donation helps programs like this continue to change outcomes for men across Canada and also around the world.
Fantastic.
I know, great news there, and local research happening right in our neck of the woods too.
Very exciting. When you see the mustaches, it's an invitation for a conversation to kind of keep awareness going and bring themselves into the spotlight.
Yeah.
All right, you said mentioning around the world. Let's go around the world right now.
Sure.
This French couple is ready for the swim of their lives. Yep, this duo is going to take the plunge. They're planning a massive relay swim from Cape Verde, an island off of Africa's west coast, all the way to Guadalupe. This would see them cross 3,800 kilometers of ocean. They'll take turns for a total of 6 hours each day. The pair will also set records for the longest swimming relay and longest female ocean crossing with drifting. So they're factoring drifting in this swim, and that is because they're in the boat, they're going to drift a little bit each night and go off course. That's what drifting is.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but imagine, I find just doing a couple laps of the pool incredibly exhausting. I can't even imagine 3,800 kilometers of open ocean water.
Open ocean water, too. I mean, just even look at the current and the waves there.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Anyway, good luck.
Good luck to them. Hopefully they have good conditions as well.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
All right, still ahead, a first look at your national and international news headlines on this Tuesday morning in Latavia. We'll have our first full look at the forecast. We have some wet weather ahead. Good morning to you. This is a live look outside City Hall in downtown Fredericton. We'll have the full forecast right after this.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. Be prepared for a wet day ahead. Here's a live look at Halifax. Another dark start to the day. Temperatures will warm up a little bit later on, but as of right now, it is a cooler start to the day, and we are seeing that for much of the region today. Weather is brought to you by the Atlantic Lottery mobile app. We are going to see temperatures become seasonal for our daytime highs today. But as of right now, heading outdoors, 6 degrees over in Fredericton, 5 in Charlottetown, 6 in Halifax, 7 in Sydney, 1 degree in Labrador City, 2 degrees over in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and 3 into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do still have special weather statements in effect for Prince Edward Island, parts of Nova Scotia. This will end on Wednesday, but we're looking at rainfall between 15 to 50 millimeters plus, and wind gusts between 70 to 90 kilometers per hour. You can see that wind warning in effect for parts of Cape Breton Island and Prince Edward Island. A rain warning also in effect for parts of Cape Breton. This is for today until this evening, seeing rain between 50 to 80 millimeters. We also have a special weather statement in effect for parts of Newfoundland, looking at wind picking up around 80 kilometers per hour, rain around 30 to 40 millimeters expected, snow at around 5 centimeters, and a wind warning in effect 80 to 110 kilometers per hour. We're expecting those wind gusts to get up to. A rainfall warning also in effect, looking at near 50 millimeters expected, and a special weather statement in effect for parts of Labrador, looking at rain also getting up to 50 millimeters. So over to our forecast timeline. You can see this low traveling right across Atlantic Canada today. We are going to see that wet weather continue across the region, starting to slowly clear out in the maritime region as we head towards this afternoon. But before we get to that, later this morning, we are expecting that heaviest rainfall between Cape Breton Island. Also a bit of wet snow expected, so some flurry action. And we are going to see that extend over to Newfoundland and Labrador, seeing that wet weather transition over to periods of light snowfall as well. And then into the evening, we start to see that clearing out of the maritime region, taking us into early Wednesday morning. We are expecting some precipitation to continue. If you're wondering about rainfall totals, a little bit higher than we saw yesterday, looking at around 2 to 5 millimeters for New Brunswick, so quite light. For Prince Edward Island, looking at around 5 to 10 millimeters and seeing the heaviest of that rainfall, 60 to 80 kilometers per hour for parts of Cape Breton. Not really seeing much totals for Labrador, but for Newfoundland, looking at around 10 to 60 millimeters. We do have a snowfall outlook as well, looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters over in parts of Cape Breton Island. And then for Labrador, only seeing 1 to 5 centimeters as well. And then for Newfoundland, looking at 5 to 15 centimeters. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick. Daytime highs between 7 to 10 degrees. Showers starting off the day will clear, leaving a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. Wind gusts getting up to 70. And then for Prince Edward Island, highs between 7 to 8 degrees, looking at periods of rain throughout the day. Wind gusts of up to 50. For Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, rain at times heavy throughout the day today. Wind gusts getting up to 80 kilometers per hour. And then the rest of Nova Scotia dealing with rain early in the morning, transitions over to a chance of showers into later this morning. For Newfoundland and Labrador, we are going to see light snow today, a high of 3 degrees in Labrador City, 10 degrees over in St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at rain at times heavy throughout your day. So Wednesday's forecast, we will be seeing sunshine return for the maritime region. All that precipitation clears out. We do still have light snowfall and showers and or flurries for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. And then into our Thursday forecast, early in the morning, we're expecting another round of wet weather heading our way with a chance of flurries expected for parts of New Brunswick. So that's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda for your national and international news headlines.
Thank you, Latavia. Time is 6:16, and we continue our coverage of the highly anticipated federal budget, Mark Carney's first since becoming Prime Minister. The stakes are high because the Liberals are in a minority government. They'll need at least some support from outside their own party. And if they don't get it, Canadians could be heading to the polls. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
In the pre-budget day new shoe-buying tradition, the finance minister got hands-on at a factory, underlining build Canadian, buy Canadian.
The budget tomorrow is all about, it's an investment budget. It's a generational shift.
The government now only stressing investment.
C'est un budget d'austérité et d'investissement.
While in early September, Justin French, Mark Carney also said austerity. Late October, a reference to sacrifices.
We won't transform our economy easily or in a few months. It will take some sacrifices.
Pounced on by opposition.
All our young conservatives are fighting for homes, jobs, and hope, and they refuse to sacrifice their future.
We will not support an austerity approach.
There will be big spending in that budget, which goes against, I think, the logic of austerity. So there is a kind of tension here.
Desjardins economists predict the deficit will hit $75 billion.
I don't think you can characterize a $75 billion deficit as an austerity budget or austerity deficit.
There are obviously unanswered questions about just what is getting cut. Public service jobs most discussed. And the government has also promised to maintain some big-ticket programs and spend more on defense.
Austerity will mean different things to different people. And those who are most impacted will see the austerity. You can see public servants who are going to be impacted will view this as an austerity budget. The unions will view this as an austerity budget.
The Liberals are 3 seats shy of a majority, meaning they need some help from the opposition parties in order to pass this budget in the confidence vote ahead or risk heading to an election.
CTV's Abigail Beeman reporting in Ottawa. And a reminder, you can watch our live coverage of the budget today from Ottawa starting at 5 p.m. local time. That's Atlantic on CTV News Channel and ctvnews.ca. Well, there is some good news for Jays fans. John Schneider has been named one of the finalists for American League Manager of the Year. It comes after that tough loss over the weekend, but as CTV's John Vennavally-Rao reports, the defeat isn't getting in the way of the inspiration the Jays' incredible run has generated.
While much of the country was caught up in Blue Jays fever for the last month, for those wanting to make it to the big leagues, the playoff run, regardless of outcome, was hugely inspiring.
It gives me extra motivation to come in here.
This Blue Jays team is really motivating. I'm here just getting work in, trying to get to another level.
Every kid at this training facility in Burlington, Ontario, has dreams of playing at least college-level baseball in the U.S., and many swinging for the majors, including 11-year-old Mateo, who last week told us he wants to play for the Blue Jays so much he'd sign with them, even if it meant a pay cut.
If I was getting more money somewhere else, I would still want to go to the Jays. I want to play in the Rogers Center.
And facilities like this now anticipating a surge in interest, with the Blue Jays' World Series appearance getting more young people excited to play the game.
It grows it. It grows baseball. It makes it where it's real, it's an achievable dream.
Now, according to Baseball Canada, across the country last year, nearly 250,000 Canadians registered to play the sport.
After the incredible World Series wins in '92 and '93, more kids started playing baseball. It was the same after the playoff runs in 2015 and 2016. And now another bump is expected in the spring.
It's exciting. I mean, it creates some capacity challenges for us to be able to handle, all the people that want to start to play baseball, but that's a good problem for us to have.
Baseball Canada notes the girls' side of the game has also seen significant growth in recent years, and that too could see a boost. And it's hoped, thanks to the interest generated by the Jays, there may be more Canadian stars on the field in the years to come. John Vennavally-Rao, CTV News, Burlington, Ontario.
Thank you, John. A quick break. When we return, your must-see moment from our colleagues at TSN. That's when Your Morning Atlantic returns right after this.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Welcome back. It's just cresting up on 6:25 and time to check in with our friends at TSN Sports Center for today's must-see moment.
Hey there, Lindsay Hamilton in the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. And for this one, we are taking a trip to Indiana. It is the Bucks and Pacers. Final seconds of the fourth here. Tied up at 1:15, and Giannis Antetokounmpo working the clock, nails the fadeaway J at the buzzer. 33 points, 13 rebounds for Giannis, the Greek Freak, just silencing the crowd and claiming your must-see moment. And hot off that win, the Bucks will be in Toronto tonight to face the Raptors on TSN. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. That's all for now from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a tremendous Tuesday.
This TSN must-see moment brought to you by J.R. Rahe's Furniture and Appliances.
And now over to your business headlines from our colleagues at BNN.
Kenvue is a company being bought by Kimberly-Clark. Shares of Kenvue have been dragged down for weeks by Donald Trump's false claim that using Tylenol during pregnancy causes autism. But those shares gained today. Kimberly-Clark will pay a premium for Kenvue. Kimberly-Clark owns brands like Kleenex and Huggies and expects to save $2 billion a year once the deal settles. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.15. West Texas Intermediate crude is up a few cents to 61.05. Western Canadian Select is also up 48 cents to 48.69. And the TSX hardly moved today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Taking a look at our 3-day forecast for New Brunswick. Showers clearing into later this morning, leaving a mix of sun and cloud, a high of 7 degrees. On Wednesday, looking at a high of 8 with mainly sunny skies, increasing cloudiness with a chance of showers and or flurries into the evening for parts of the province. And then on Thursday, a high of 6 degrees, showers and or flurries across the province. For Nova Scotia, we're looking at a high of 9 degrees today. Rain at times heavy for parts of the province. We are going to see that wet weather throughout the day. Scattered showers into the evening. On Wednesday, sunshine returns. We do have rain returning as well into the evening with a high of 10. And on Thursday, 5 degrees with periods of rain throughout the day. Prince Edward Island seeing wet weather today as well with a high of 7. Sunshine returns on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, looking at periods of rain returning across the island.
Just ahead this morning, the Move Morning Chat. Today, we're talking about the go-to movies in your family. That conversation in about 15 minutes on CTV's Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. Hope your Tuesday is off to a great start. It is 6:31. Amanda, Crystal, and Latavia with you on this Tuesday morning. Worth noting, if you take any ferries across the region today, we have a number of cancellations both today and for sometimes tomorrow due to the high winds.
Which ferries?
In the region. Basically all of them.
Okay.
Like we're talking, yeah, like we're talking between Cape Breton and Newfoundland and Labrador, the Digby ferry as well. We're talking Wood Islands, PEI to Caribou, Nova Scotia. Yeah, look ahead if that is part of your commute or you're planning on taking those ferries this morning. Cancellations in place.
That's news you can use. Well, that brings us to you, Latavia. We got some stuff going on in the weather, obviously.
Yeah, we have some strong winds, even within the maritime region. We're looking at wind gusts getting up to 80 kilometers per hour. So definitely something to keep in mind. Also keep in mind your early morning commute. We are seeing wet weather track right across Atlantic Canada. Some areas getting rain at times heavy, so visibility could become an issue. And another cool start to the day, although warmer than we saw on Monday morning. But something to keep in mind when you're getting dressed to head out the door. As of right now, 6 degrees in Fredericton, 4 in Bathurst, 5 degrees in Charlottetown with 6 in Halifax, 7 over in Sydney, 2 degrees in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, 1 degree over in Cartwright and Gander, and 3 degrees in St. John's. We do have special weather statements and wind warnings in effect for parts of Prince Edward Island as well as Nova Scotia. Rainfall warnings in effect for parts of Cape Breton Island. We do have a special weather statement in effect for parts of Labrador as well as into Newfoundland with a wind warning also in effect and a rainfall warning. So because of that, you can see here this current system that we're dealing with. Rain at times heavy for parts of the region. We will be seeing mixed precipitation for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. Will continue throughout the day today, so keep that in mind. Over to our wind, starting off quite light for the maritime region, will pick up this afternoon. As of right now, wind out of the northwest, 24 kilometers per hour in Yarmouth, 28 into Canso, 22 in Edmonton, 19 in Sydney. Wind gusts getting up to 43 kilometers per hour right now in Edmonton as well as into Yarmouth, 39 in Canso and 33 in Grand Manan. We'll have another look at your long-range forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news headlines with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Prime Minister Mark Carney's government is set to unveil its first budget today. Around here, those in agriculture say Ottawa could support the sector to bring down prices at the grocery store.
We're hoping that there is a food security and food affordability focus with this budget. And we see a lot of cross-pollination opportunities because so many of the transportation and infrastructure projects that would benefit agriculture benefit rural economies as a whole.
The federal government has already promised $1.25 billion for the softwood lumber industry, but the sector here and across the country will be looking for more today.
Let's use this as a moment to future-proof and future-ready our industry and to support our workers.
This will be the first fiscal update in almost a year and Carney's first as Prime Minister. The fiscal update comes as Canada continues to grapple with the U.S. trade war. Carney has described it as being a budget of both austerity and investment. Halifax RCMP are investigating a weekend homicide in North Preston. Police say they were called to reports of shots fired around the dinner hour Sunday. When they arrived, officers found 28-year-old Jaden Tynes with gunshot wounds. He later died in hospital. Investigators are looking for dashcam footage around Kane and Clarence Streets Sunday afternoon. Business owners in downtown Halifax say they're getting fed up with crime and other problems, and they want more policing. The CEO of the Downtown Halifax Business Commission was one of the business leaders who went to Ottawa to jointly call for federal action on public safety. Paul McKinnon says while a lot of the issues are being fueled by drug addiction and mental health challenges, organized crime is also playing a growing role.
They're actually going into businesses, threatening that if they aren't given money, then they'll come back and damage the store or do physical violence. So, there's a general concern that crime is going in the wrong direction.
And the head of the Spring Garden Road Area Business Association says they were told last week the area is getting an increased police presence. The province of Nova Scotia has joined a chorus opposing a Supreme Court of Canada decision that struck down mandatory minimum sentences for child pornography offences. CTV's Hafsa Arif has the latest.
It's a ruling that's reshaping how Canada punishes one of its most serious crimes. In a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court ruled the mandatory 1-year jail term for possessing or accessing child pornography unconstitutional, calling it too broad and unfair in some cases.
This involves children, and children today, because of this Supreme Court decision, are less safe than they were on Friday.
Nova Scotia's Justice Minister plans to meet with Ottawa next week, pushing for tougher laws and stricter sentences.
My first and foremost goal is to make sure we bring back strong sentencing for people that would violate children in this manner and hold them accountable for what they do and send a message of deterrence.
But legal experts argue judges need room to deliver fair sentences.
I think the controversy is the crime itself is really problematic. But we have another important principle in our legal system is that the penalty should fit the crime.
The court focused on cases like an 18-year-old receiving an explicit photo from a 17-year-old. Under the old rule, that would automatically trigger a year in jail.
Important to remember that the court's not saying that a minimum sentence for a properly defined version of child pornography would be okay. They're saying this one goes too far.
Nova Scotia RCMP notes child sexual abuse and exploitation material is on the rise.
This could be a result of the increase in social media apps. There's a lot of selection out there. There's a lot of groups out there, the internet.
Ottawa now faces the decision to rewrite the law or use the notwithstanding clause to restore the minimum sentence. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Hafsa. Finally, in Mexico, families waited for souls of their loved ones to return during Day of the Dead celebrations. The celebrations start on October 31st and go for 3 days when families welcome the souls of their dead loved ones with lit candles, incense, and also their favorite food and drinks. And as Crystal would say, let's have a moment to look at this video for a while because it is just beautiful, stunning celebrations.
I've always been fascinated by the Day of the Dead celebrations. I love that idea that the veil is thin and we can connect more easily with our departed loved ones.
And just having a moment, it's true, and making sure that you're not forgetting them.
Look at these wonderful costumes.
They are stunning.
The masks.
Yeah, they're so beautiful. So big celebrations, and yeah, they just wrapped up.
Well, 1 year maybe. Put it on the bucket list.
Yeah.
For Halloween and Day of the Dead celebrations. Okay, a family in Australia has made an incredible discovery on a beach, the kind of thing that could happen here, but they found a glass bottle holding a letter that was 109 years old.
We feel proud that the bottle picked us. Yeah, and we'll keep on cleaning our beaches until the day we die.
That's Deborah Brown sharing her story. The bottle held letters from 2 Australian First World War soldiers dated August 15, 1916. One is from Private Malcolm Alexander Neville, who was killed in action in France. The other from William Kirk Harley, who returned home after the war. Brown was able to track down family members of both men and send them those letters.
Oh, wow, that's special.
Yeah. They rattled around the ocean, bobbed around for 109 years. They're still in pretty good shape.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's shocking.
And now back in the hands of family, just taking the chance to and time to do that is so sweet.
Just in time for Remembrance Day, too. It's just a
very true.
Wonderful story.
No, Remembrance Day, a week away now.
One exact week away, yes.
Still ahead this half hour, we'll have your entertainment headlines coming up next. So it is the Move Morning Chat. Today we want to know.
Oh, yeah.
The Emperor's New Groove. This is an iconic duo. What is your family's go-to movie and why do you love it? That conversation coming up.
Welcome back. The time now is 6:42. We're taking a live look at a cloudy and wet start to the day over in McAdam. We are expecting showers early this morning, and then we'll transition over to a mix of sun and cloud as clouds begin to clear out and precipitation. Over to our current temperatures right across the board. Although warmer than yesterday morning, still feeling cool across the region. 6 degrees starting off your day in Fredericton with 5 in Charlottetown and in Halifax. 7 degrees early this morning in Sydney. 3 degrees over in St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have special weather statements in effect across Prince Edward Island, parts of Nova Scotia, looking at around 15 to 50 millimeters of precipitation. We do have a wind warning in effect for parts of both those provinces. Wind gusts between 70 to 90 kilometers per hour expected. Also a rainfall warning in effect for parts of Cape Breton Island until this evening, looking at precipitation between 50 to 80 millimeters. Also a special weather statement in effect for parts of Newfoundland, a wind warning as well, 80 to 110 kilometers per hour expected, and a rain warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland, seeing precipitation nearing 50 millimeters, as well as a special weather statement in effect for parts of Labrador. So we do have this wet weather tracking across much of Atlantic Canada today. We are going to see that heavier rainfall situated into Cape Breton Island starting off early this morning. So we do have a bit of downpours. You can see that yellow indicated there. We also have that pink and purple into parts of Cape Breton Island. Could see some wet flurry action today, as well as Newfoundland and Labrador seeing light snowfall and periods of rain, at times heavy. Into the evening hours, we start to really see this precipitation clear out of the Maritime region. Still seeing a bit left over in parts of Cape Breton and eastern Nova Scotia. And if you're wondering about rainfall totals today until tomorrow at 6 a.m., we're looking at around 2 to 5 millimeters across New Brunswick, 5 to 10 for Prince Edward Island. The heaviest of that precipitation expected into parts of Cape Breton. And also going to see around 10 to 60 millimeters across Newfoundland. Over to our snowfall outlook, we are going to see around 1 to 5 centimeters in Cape Breton Island and looking at around 10 to 15 being the heaviest into parts of Newfoundland. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick. We are going to see a chance of showers transition over to a mix of sun and cloud later this morning. Wind picking up out of the northwest, 40 gusting to 70 kilometers per hour. For Prince Edward Island, a high of 7 to 8 degrees. Rain throughout your day with wind gusts of up to 50. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, looking at rain at times heavy, wind gusts getting up to 80 kilometers per hour. And then for the rest of Nova Scotia, rain will transition over to a chance of scattered showers, and wind gusts also expected 80 kilometers per hour this afternoon. Light snowfall over in Labrador City with a high of 3 degrees. 10 into St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at rain at times heavy throughout your day today. So this current weather system will start to clear out for the most part. We will be seeing some light snowfall remain for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador tomorrow. And then we have another system right behind it, bringing us some light flurries for parts of New Brunswick, as well as rain at times heavy for parts of the region yet again. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to the Move Morning Chat.
It's Move Morning Chat time with our friends Aaron and Peter in radio. We have entered the cold days of November. Great time to stay inside and watch your favorite film. So we are asking, what was your favorite film that you watch over and over again with your family? Aaron, what's the story behind this one?
Well, I mentioned to Peter that I watched the new John Candy documentary, I Like Me, that everybody's been watching and talking about. And then it turned into the fact that, yeah, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I mean, iconic movie. My family and I watched this so many times growing up. And I mean, I'm assuming most people have seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin, John Candy. If you haven't, this is the perfect time of year to watch it because it takes place over American Thanksgiving and it's kind of winter vibes. So anyway, I can quote the whole movie. John Candy is just an angel. It is the best movie of all time. I know Peter loves it too.
I do love it. And I'm going to mention a film, though, that I think is probably a whole lot more obscure. I don't know if anyone in this conversation has heard of it. Have you heard of the movie Baby's Day Out?
Oh, is that the one where the baby escapes and at one point it's like climbing over a construction site? Because if that's the movie, Peter, that stressed me out as a kid. I remember feeling upset watching that film.
Well, we watched it over and over and over again and laughed and laughed and laughed because it's kind of a slapstick thing. But yeah, there are three. It sounds a little dark. 3 kidnappers go to a mansion to kidnap this baby, but the baby escapes and then spends the rest of the movie reenacting scenes from his favorite storybook, this baby does. And the kidnappers are just kind of falling all over themselves trying to find the baby. But that's a movie. And at different times you watch different movies. But when our kids were young, that was the movie we were watching as a family.
That's a fun one. We watch movies a lot. We still have a VCR that we use, that we have like at our cottage.
Amazing.
Or the house that we have in Cape Breton. And we have tons and tons of VHS movies, like with this big dresser that's just full of VHS movies. So some of our favorites we watch over and over again. We love Anastasia from the 90s.
So good.
So good. And The Emperor's New Groove. Have you guys seen The Emperor's New Groove? It's hilarious. Hilarious. Kronk and Yzma and everything. And it's a llama. Like it's quoted constantly in our house.
It's an incredible film. We have introduced our 8-year-old son to the film. He has enjoyed it as much as we have, especially when Yzma turns into the cat. But I'm going to talk about something a bit more modern for my young family. So our son watched Disney's Cars, with Lightning McQueen, ka-chow, that race car. It's a huge film. It's still popular to this day. My husband and I can quote that film from beginning to end, and that's not even including Cars 2, which is a weird one, and Cars 3. So yeah, we had a lot of Owen Wilson in our house during his younger years.
It's a great topic of conversation. By the way, Aaron and Peter, I love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The mess around, oh my gosh, you need to see it. It's iconic.
Now is the time
You'll
to see
never adjust your seat in your automatic seat ever the same again. Am I right? In any case, let us know what your movie is that your family watches over and over again. Text us at 10400. We'll all take a little trip down memory lane.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
And now time to head over to Hollywood to take a look at your entertainment headlines.
I want to see you again.
Now you see me.
You know what I mean.
Justin Baldoni's $400 million countersuit against Blake Lively has been thrown out by a federal judge in New York. The It Ends With Us co-stars have been in a legal battle after Lively made allegations of a hostile work environment on set and a subsequent smear campaign by Baldoni's team. Judge Louis Lyman signed the order to dismiss the lawsuit after Baldoni missed the deadline to file an amended complaint.
Little do you know how long I've been waiting for this.
Kelly Clarkson has added new dates in 2026 for her Las Vegas residency at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace. She'll be in Sin City from July 17th through August 15th. Ticket pre-sales begin on November 4th and regular sales on November 7th. In honor of Dick Van Dyke's 100th birthday this year, a documentary by Fathom Entertainment called Dick Van Dyke 100th Celebration will appear in theaters nationwide on December 13th and 14th. Tickets are available now. And actor Matthew McConaughey turns 56 today, and that's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And keeping with entertainment, you've probably heard the song Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. Well, the singer just delivered a Java Jolt to an unsuspecting group of high school students.
The group of buddies has a foodie podcast. It's quickly growing, especially now that it's recently been parodied on Saturday Night Live. ABC's Danny New has the story.
What's up, Fern? I'm No Name. I'm McLovin. I'm Munchalakith. Today we're doing a burger.
For the past year, 4 best friends from Maryland have been letting their food opinions fly on their podcast, MD Foodie Boys.
Has this first year gone even better than you expected?
Oh, yeah, for sure. A lot better than expected.
But here's one thing these high school freshmen were not anticipating.
I'm going to kick things off with a controversial pick, Twizzlers.
Bro, what? A parody of their podcast on Saturday Night Live featuring pop superstar Sabrina Carpenter.
Me and Emma were actually having a sleepover. And then we woke up the next morning and we just saw like a bunch of text messages about it.
This all went down a few weeks ago.
I've never had a vegetable, low-key.
Never tried any vegetables, not gonna lie.
And since then, 2 of the actresses from the sketch have even commented on their Instagram, with Veronica Slowikowska writing, "Love you guys."
Did you think they did a good job?
I thought it was funny, yeah. There were a lot of very close, like, they were pretty on point.
But really, these young food critics have been gaining momentum since their very first post last December.
I don't understand how celery has like 0 calories or like close to 0.
Which quickly picked up millions of views.
I don't even know if any of us thought we'd film a second podcast. Yeah. Until we saw how crazy that first one went. If your music was a food, what would it be?
Such a good question.
Since then, they've welcomed special guests like Grammy-nominated rapper Lil Yachty. And just recently, they were even welcomed by their hometown Baltimore Ravens. But I know one wish they have for year 2 of the podcast.
Would you like Sabrina Carpenter to come on the pod?
Yes, for sure, yeah.
By the way, one of the Foodie Boys actually said he had never heard of SNL until he was being depicted on it, which, honestly, is pretty baller. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Taking a look at our 3-day forecast, a wet day ahead for New Brunswick. We will be seeing showers clear, leaving a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon with a high of 7. On Wednesday, 8 degrees, mainly sunny skies, but we do have a chance of showers and or flurries into the evening for the central and northern region of the province. And then on Thursday, looking at showers and or flurries yet again, a high of 6. For Nova Scotia, also seeing wet weather, rain at times heavy for parts of the province. Into the afternoon, we will be seeing a chance of scattered showers for parts of the province and a high of 9. 10 degrees on Wednesday, mainly sunny skies with increasing cloudiness, evening rain expected. And then on Thursday, a high of 5 and wet weather continues across the province. Prince Edward Island looking at a high of 7 today with rain. Clouds will clear out on Wednesday, leaving sunshine. And then on Thursday, 6 degrees with rain returning.
It's Tuesday, November 4th. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, Prime Minister Mark Carney's government is set to unveil its first budget today. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And the Medavie Blue Nose Marathon. The two are teaming up in a new partnership that's more than just about race day. It's about building healthier communities. We'll chat more about this new chapter for runners and walkers coming up this half hour.
Good morning, Atlantic, Canada. The time now is 7:01 on your Tuesday, November 4th. A wet start to the day, really right across the region. It's quite an intense low-pressure system moving through Atlantic, Canada today.
Okay.
Wow. And it's windy, too.
Yeah.
And it's impacting ferry service. So, yeah, it's a messy one for sure.
Absolutely.
We're going to get a fair bit of rain, I hope, with this. If we're going to go through all the hullabaloo, we might as well get some rain.
Exactly right. For the most part, we're looking at around 10 to 20 millimeters for the maritime region.
Okay.
Cape Breton will see the heaviest of that rainfall and parts of Newfoundland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of varied, but still much needed precipitation.
We need the rain to fill up the water table, fill up those wells and all that good stuff. Okay, so right now, is it rain? Like, explain exactly what's happening with the weather.
Well, it's quite wet starting off your day. We are seeing showers and periods of rain for much of the region. You can see that from our live eye over in Antigonish. This morning, we're looking at 6 degrees starting off your day, and we are expecting that wet weather to persist for much of the region throughout your day today. So make sure to allot some extra time out on your morning commute. Some areas seeing heavier rain, so visibility could become an issue, and those winds will be picking up into the afternoon for much of the region as well. 6 degrees early this morning in Fredericton, 5 in Charlottetown and in Halifax, 7 degrees in Sydney, 3 over in Happy Valley Goose Bay, as well as into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have special weather statements in effect for Prince Edward Island, parts of Nova Scotia, as well as a wind warning. A rainfall warning in effect for parts of Cape Breton Island this morning, as well as a special weather statement in effect for Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. And we are seeing a wind warning and a rain warning for parts of Newfoundland. You can take a look at the system on our satellite and radar, that yellow and orange indicating that heavier rainfall situated into Cape Breton Island and parts of eastern Nova Scotia. We are going to see this system continue across much of Atlantic Canada into the afternoon. Winds starting off quite light will pick up into the afternoon as well for the maritime region. Out of the northwest this morning, 28 kilometers per hour in Canso and Edmundston, 24 into Yarmouth with 13 into Granitang, 19 in Sydney. Wind gusts getting up to 43 in Yarmouth and Edmundston, 33 in Grand Manan, 39 in Canso. We'll have another look at this low pressure system coming up, but first a look at your local news headlines with Amanda.
Thank you so much, Latavia. And due to the high winds, a number of ferry crossings in our region are canceled for today. Marine Atlantic says crossings between North Sydney and Port aux Basques are canceled for today and tomorrow morning. Northumberland Ferries says the sailings after 8:30 a.m. between Wood Islands, PEI, and Caribou, Nova Scotia are canceled. Also, the Fundy Rose will leave Digby earlier. That departure time moved up from 4 p.m. to 1 p.m. Prime Minister Mark Carney's government is set to unveil its first budget today. Around here, those who work in agriculture say Ottawa could support the sector to bring down prices at the grocery store.
We're hoping that there is a food security and food affordability focus with this budget. And we see a lot of cross-pollination opportunities because so many of the transportation and infrastructure projects that would benefit agriculture benefit rural economies as a whole.
The federal government has already promised $1.25 billion for the softwood lumber industry, but the sector here and across the country will be looking for more today.
Use this as a moment to future-proof and future-ready our industry and to support our workers.
This will be the first fiscal update in almost a year and Carney's first as Prime Minister. The fiscal update comes as Canada continues to grapple with the U.S. trade war. Carney has described it as being a budget of both austerity and investment. Homeowners in Fredericton are being told not to expect a tax cut this year. The city is pointing the finger at the province's decision to freeze assessments for the coming year. It's left the city struggling to find dollars.
So the vast majority of property tax bills next year will be the exact same as they were for 2025. But we have seen large increases, the same as a typical homeowner would have, for lights and power, for fuel, for just regular repairs and maintenance that we see on our aging infrastructure and our vehicles.
There hasn't been a comprehensive discussion on municipal finance reform to date. That is something that the municipal sector in New Brunswick is expecting out of the current provincial government.
The assessment freeze was implemented to give the Holt government time to work on an overhaul of the property tax system, which is now supposed to be complete by 2027. Halifax RCMP are investigating a weekend homicide in North Preston. Police say they were called to reports of shots fired around the dinner hour Sunday. When they arrived, officers found 28-year-old Jaden Tynes with gunshot wounds. He later died in hospital. Investigators are looking for dashcam footage around Kane and Clarence Streets Sunday afternoon. A well-known maritimer, entrepreneur, and humanitarian has died. Bill Mont passed away last Tuesday. Credited with introducing the flea market concept to the region in the 1970s, he also owned an auction and real estate company, a cemetery, and other ventures. He also purchased Devil's Island at the mouth of Halifax Harbour and saved a number of heritage properties over the years. His family notes he was a passionate animal lover and collector of pretty much everything. Bill Mont never shied away from the spotlight, appearing in more than 20 movies over the years, and was a regular caller on talk radio programs. He lived his last 25 years at Northwood, helping seniors. Bill Mont was 96. In New Brunswick, law enforcement in St. John is asking homeowners to give them a helping hand and register their security cameras.
It saves times for us to not have to go door to door knocking to find if people have cameras. It saves time for everybody. It's better on our resources.
The Safe Neighborhood Camera Registry is a police initiative that would give police a record of cameras within the city. Those who register for the free of charge program would allow police to quickly identify cameras in an area a crime has occurred that could contain evidence to aid an investigation. The information would be stored in a database through policesolutions.ca. Police would not have direct access to the camera feeds and would still need permission to obtain video from camera owners each time. Finally, People magazine has named the sexiest man alive for 2025. The honor goes to this gentleman, Jonathan Bailey. You'll recognize him from the movie Wicked, the Bridgerton series. The British actor called the honor completely absurd, but says he's proud to represent confidence and kindness. Bailey also recently starred in Jurassic World Rebirth, which did really well at the box office. He follows last year's pick of John Krasinski, and he joins a list that includes Patrick Dempsey, Paul Rudd, and Chris Evans, just to name a few.
Oh, love Paul Rudd.
I love Paul Rudd, too. But yeah, Jonathan Bailey, such a talented actor.
He really is, and quite gorgeous as well.
Yes, and a great dancer, great singer.
It's the whole package.
Yeah.
Get to be sexiest man alive.
I know.
That's a that's a stiff competition.
Great honor.
No,
Great honor.
I like how he's like, this is completely absurd.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm here for kindness.
Makes us love him even more. Okay, this is all about the world's largest cargo sailboat. Yeah, I bet you weren't expecting me to say that. It's completed its maiden transatlantic voyage. So this, despite some damage to one of its sails that happened during the crossing, it forced the crew to partially rely on its motor and the remaining intact sail. But the journey started in Saint-Nazaire, France, before stopping in Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon.
Oh, our region.
Yep. And then its final stop is in Baltimore in the U.S. So researchers say wind propulsion systems have the potential to cut emissions by more than 50% on new vessels for optimized wind conditions. So maybe the container ships you see in the Halifax Harbour, for example, might soon be sail-driven.
Wow, that'd be really cool.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so there you go. You saw it first on Your Morning Atlantic.
Wonder if we're going to see any of that in Halls Harbor. Do you think?
Maybe.
You got something like that?
Some interesting tides going on there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, tide's out. Maybe not. We'll have your forecast and national headlines right after this.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. The time now is 7:13, taking a live look at a very wet start to the day over in Moncton. Keep that in mind when you are heading out. 4 degrees starting off your day as well, so another cooler start to the day. Weather is brought to you by the Atlantic Lottery mobile app, and we are seeing cooler temperatures, but still warmer than Monday morning. As you head out early this morning, 6 degrees in Fredericton, with 5 starting off your day in Charlottetown and in Halifax, 7 into Sydney, 1 in Labrador City, and 4 degrees over in St. John's, Newfoundland. We do still have special weather statements in effect for Prince Edward Island, parts of Nova Scotia, as well as a wind warning in effect, looking at wind gusts between 70 to 90 kilometers per hour. A rainfall warning in effect for parts of Cape Breton Island until this evening, looking at around 50 to 80 millimeters of precipitation. A special weather statement also in effect for parts of Newfoundland with a wind warning, and we do have a rainfall warning as well, seeing rain nearing 50 millimeters. And we do have a special weather statement also in effect for parts of Labrador. So we are going to see rain and snow over into parts of Newfoundland and Labrador today. And this wet weather tracking across much of Atlantic Canada. You can see the heaviest of that rainfall situated into parts of Cape Breton Island, eastern Nova Scotia, and into the later this morning, still seeing that heavier downpours expected for parts of Cape Breton Island. Something to keep in mind if you are heading out. Visibility could be an issue when you're driving today, so maybe allot some extra time out on your morning commute. And then into the afternoon, much of the same expected, but we will start to see some clearing into the evening, but we do have mixed precipitation expected for both Newfoundland and Labrador. If you're wondering about precipitation totals, only seeing around 2 to 5 millimeters across New Brunswick. For Prince Edward Island, looking at around 5 to 10 millimeters and seeing that heavier rainfall situated into parts of Cape Breton Island. For Newfoundland, looking at around 10 to 60 millimeters expected, so going to see some heavier rainfall there as well. We do have snowfall totals in effect as well, looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters for parts of Cape Breton Island, looking at 5 to 15 across parts of Newfoundland. For our forecast today, we're starting off the day with showers across New Brunswick, transitioning over to a mix of sun and cloud. Daytime highs between 9 to 10 degrees and wind gusts getting up to 70 kilometers per hour. Highs between 7 to 8 degrees today for Prince Edward Island, looking at periods of rain throughout the day. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, rain at times heavy, wind gusts of up to 80 kilometers per hour. And for the rest of Nova Scotia, same thing applies, looking at periods of rain starting off the day, transitioning over to cloudy skies with a chance of some scattered showers. Newfoundland and Labrador, light snowfall today with a high of 3 degrees in Labrador City, with 10 into St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at rain at times heavy as well. So into Wednesday, we are going to see a bit of sunshine for the Maritime region, still holding on to some light snowfall for parts of both Newfoundland and Labrador. And then into Wednesday evening, carrying into early Thursday morning, we have another system bringing us some mixed precipitation for the Maritime region, and will make its way over to parts of Newfoundland into Thursday afternoon. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda for your international news headlines.
Thanks, Latavia. And we continue our coverage of the highly anticipated federal budget, Mark Carney's first since becoming prime minister. The stakes are high because the Liberals are in a minority government. They will need at least some support from outside their own party. And if they don't get it, Canadians could be heading to the polls. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more.
In the pre-budget day new shoe-buying tradition, the finance minister got hands-on at a factory, underlining build Canadian, buy Canadian.
The budget tomorrow is all about, it's an investment budget. It's a generational shift.
The government now only stressing investment.
C'est un budget d'austérité et d'investissement.
While in early September, just in French, Mark Carney also said austerity. Late October, a reference to sacrifices.
We won't transform our economy easily or in a few months. It will take some sacrifices.
Pounced on by opposition.
All our young Conservatives are fighting for homes, jobs, and hope, and they refuse to sacrifice their future.
We will not support an austerity approach.
There will be big spending in that budget, which goes against, I think, the logic of austerity. So there is a kind of tension here.
Desjardins economists predict the deficit will hit $75 billion.
I don't think you can characterize a $75 billion deficit as an austerity budget or austerity deficit.
There are obviously unanswered questions about just what is getting cut. Public service jobs most discussed. And the government has also promised to maintain some big-ticket programs and spend more on defense.
Austerity will mean different things to different people. And those who are most impacted will see the austerity. You can see public servants who are going to be impacted will view this as an austerity budget. The unions will view this as an austerity budget.
The Liberals are 3 seats shy of a majority, meaning they need some help from the opposition parties in order to pass this budget in the confidence vote ahead or risk heading to an election.
Thank you, Abigail. And a reminder, you can watch our live coverage of the budget today from Ottawa starting at 5 p.m. Atlantic time. That will be on CTV News Channel and ctvnews.ca. Much of what's in the federal budget today will be in response to Donald Trump's trade war. And this week, the U.S. Supreme Court will hear a case about tariffs. The court will hear arguments tomorrow in a case where some small businesses say Trump's use of emergency powers to invoke tariffs is illegal and has forced them to lay off employees and raise prices. Trump used those powers to impose tariffs on Canada and more than 100 other American trading partners. Prince Harry will be in Canada this week for a series of events ahead of Remembrance Day. Harry's office confirms he'll be in Toronto at the invitation of the True Patriot Love Foundation, which supports members of the military, veterans, and their families. The Duke of Sussex will be in the city on Wednesday and Thursday. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we'll get details on the Medavie Blue Nose Marathon in Halifax. It's coming up this spring, and details right after this.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
The Health Connect segment is brought to you by Medavie. Life lived fully.
Welcome back at 7:22 and time for our Medavie Health Connect segment with our partners at Medavie. They're teaming up with one of Halifax's most beloved events to become the official title sponsor for the Blue Nose Marathon, Atlantic Canada's largest running and walking event. So joining us this morning from Medavie is Aaron Vino and Sherry Robbins, the Executive Director of Medavie Blue Nose Marathon. Welcome. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Aaron, did I get your last name? It is Vino or Vinot?
Vino.
Vino. Okay,
yes.
Great. Perfect. Okay. So this is really exciting that Medavie is now the title sponsor for the Blue Nose Marathon. Why are you excited about this?
So I'm excited because this is the next evolution of our partnership. You know, Medavie has been a proud supporter of the Blue Nose for 13 years now, which surprised me that length of time when Sherry let me know. And over that length of time, you really do see how well aligned and much of a support the event and the initiative is for our mission to improve the well-being of Canadians. So we see a lot of synergies there. And then certainly, wanted to take the next evolution of this partnership to really take it to the next level, invite, more Haligonians and Nova Scotians out for that, and really bring it to life next year.
Yeah, so, and this is wonderful news, Sherry. You must be just over the moon.
Yeah, we're thrilled.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Secret we've been holding on to for about a year now.
Yeah, well, that's a great kind of secret. Does it mean any changes for the people at home that they'll notice?
It doesn't mean any changes for the event itself. You know, the Blue Nose Marathon is a very iconic event, and with Medavie coming on as our title sponsor, being the Medavie Blue Nose Marathon, it just continues to mean that the event is more accessible for our participants when we think about our charity partners and the greater community as a whole.
Yeah, we're looking at some images right now. There's some imagery of the. It's such a great event. It is truly a people's marathon, and I know for a lot of people, the idea of having a race to look forward to, no matter the distance, it gets them into running. You could speak to that because it's kind of what happened to you, isn't it, Aaron?
Absolutely. My first 10K was actually the Blue Nose 2025, and I was just delighted to take part. And you really saw, the impact that the event has on the community and that magic it brings with thousands and thousands of people coming out, all for a singular purpose to build a community together.
Yeah, I know our CTV, we have a team, and every year everybody gets so excited. The team does the relay. So everybody just picks a little distance that's accessible for them. So some people do the long, and those who haven't run for very long maybe do like 3K. But in any case, it's super exciting, and everybody's so excited in the preparation for the event. But then in the day of, there's just so much camaraderie and joy in being in something together. And
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Sherry, for this event, is it possible? When can we start registering for the 2026
You can register right now.
Really?
Yeah, we opened registration about 2.5 weeks ago. Yeah, when we announced the new partnership with Medavie, we opened registration that day, so you can sign up, register now. We'll be opening volunteer registration next month. It takes about 1,000 volunteers to stage this event, so we need lots of volunteers to help out. Charity partners can sign up right now as well. We have 25 charity partners that have already signed up and are getting ready to participate in their fundraising dollars to make a difference for the community. So there's so many ways to get involved. We'll be launching our Team miles program. Probably in early January, people can see that application. So if there's some intimidation, or you thought, or people think that they might want to get involved in running and they're not sure how, the Team Miles program is a fantastic program to have that camaraderie and get a great intro to running.
Perfect. We're pretty much out of time, but Aaron, you started from zero and got to do 10K. Any advice for people at home?
It's the old mantra: if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Okay, well, thank you. Congratulations on this exciting new partnership. And we put a link to the Blue Nose Marathon, the Medavie Blue Nose Marathon, on our website to make it easy for you to find. Why wait for those New Year's resolutions? Sign up now. Make a difference in your life and the lives of others. It's 7:26. Your Morning Atlantic. We'll be right back after this.
Just ahead, it is Tia Tuesday, and today, Tia is introducing us to an author and founder of an award-winning platform for children. That's coming up here on CTV's Your Morning Atlantic.
Come on in, 7:30 on this Tuesday, November 4th. All right, really excited about that new partnership with Blue Nose Marathon.
Yeah.
So cool that you can register now. I know you both participate in different levels of the event.
Yes, I'm at the very bottom. Amanda's climbing up to the top.
Yeah. Well, let's just, is there anything you want to tell our viewers right now, Amanda?
Oh, no, you're saying it. Okay, well, I was talking to Sherry. I was there for Medavie's announcement a few weeks ago. I won registration to do the Blue Nose. I love the Blue Nose event. That's not a secret. Oh, no. I've never done the full marathon course, so I'm considering doing the Blue Nose full marathon. I have done a full marathon before. It has been a few years. It takes a lot of training, but I haven't done the full. It's the only one I haven't done. Well, so I'm thinking maybe 2026 is that year.
You can do it. You know, just think about it. And now is the time. I love the idea that the registration's open. So rather than kind of jumping on the resolution train, you could kind of make that commitment to yourself now.
And it's so true. I have to say, because every year I talk to someone, they say, oh, I wish I had trained, or I wish I knew and could have been prepared. It's the May long weekend. And I have to say, the months between January, February, March, April, sometimes they can feel long. They can. I love registering for the Blue Nose because it gets me outside and it gets me motivated and moving, and it makes those months and weeks like fly by.
And you can participate any way you can. You don't have to run. Just you can wheel, you can walk, whatever you want to do.
Volunteer.
Volunteer.
Volunteering is fun.
For sure. And one thing I love about a commitment when it comes to movement is it gets you outside despite the weather.
Despite the weather.
Exactly. We are dealing with some wet weather across the region, at times heavy for parts of Atlantic Canada. So something to keep in mind when you are heading out early this morning. Here's a live look at Burnt Coat Head. We are going to see cooler temperatures starting off your day, but much warmer than we saw Monday morning. But still keep that in mind when you are heading out. You may want to bundle up, and don't forget your rain gear before you head out as well. 6 degrees starting off your day early this morning in Fredericton, with 5 in Charlottetown and in Halifax, 7 degrees in Sydney, 4 starting off your day in St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have a special weather statement in effect for parts of the Maritime region, a wind warning as well. And we do have a rain warning in effect for parts of Cape Breton Island. Special weather statements also in effect for parts of Labrador as well as into parts of Newfoundland. We do also have a wind warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland and a rainfall warning. Here's a look at that system currently tracking across much of Atlantic Canada today. We are going to see some heavier downpours, as I had mentioned, for parts of the region, so visibility could become an issue. So allot that extra time out on your route this morning. Here's a look at our wind for all 3 maritime provinces. Starting off quite light, will pick up into the afternoon. Out of the northwest, 37 kilometers per hour in Yarmouth, 28 in Edmonton, as well as into Canso, 19 in Lunenburg. Wind gusts getting up to 54 kilometers per hour right now in Yarmouth, 43 in Edmonton, and 37 in Canso. We'll have another look at your long-range forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news headlines with Amanda.
Thank you so much, Latavia. Time is 7:34. And due to the high winds, a number of ferry crossings in our region are canceled for today. Marine Atlantic says crossings between North Sydney and Port aux Basques are canceled for today and tomorrow morning. Northumberland Ferries says the sailings after 8:30 a.m. between Wood Islands, PEI, and Caribou, Nova Scotia are canceled. Also, the Fundy Rose will leave Digby earlier due to weather conditions. That departure time moved up from 4 p.m. to 1 p.m. Prime Minister Mark Carney's government is set to unveil its first budget today. And around here, those in agriculture say Ottawa could support the sector to bring down prices at the grocery store.
We're hoping that there is a food security and food affordability focus with this budget. And we see a lot of cross-pollination opportunities because so many of the transportation and infrastructure projects that would benefit agriculture benefit rural economies as a whole.
The federal budget has already promised $1.25 billion for the softwood lumber industry, but the sector here and across the country will be looking for more today.
Let's use this as a moment to future-proof and future-ready our industry and to support our workers.
This will be the first fiscal update in almost a year, and Carney's first as Prime Minister. The fiscal update comes as Canada continues to grapple with the U.S. trade war. Carney has described it as being a budget of both austerity and investment. The New Brunswick government is set to spend $2.8 million on a new sexual violence investigative unit within the RCMP. The unit's first office will open later this year and be based at the Courage Centre in Shediac, which the Mounties say will strengthen investigations, support survivors, and improve safety. Additional offices will follow next year in Oromocto and Tracadie and will also be managed by the RCMP headquarters in Fredericton. The man accused of attacking 3 healthcare workers at the Halifax Infirmary in late January has opted to plead his case before a judge and jury. Nicholas Robert Colombe is accused of attempted murder, aggravated assault, assault with a weapon, and possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose. Police allege the 32-year-old stabbed 2 people in the ER and injured 2 others by throwing objects at them. One of the victims sustained what police called significant injuries. A preliminary hearing in the case is scheduled for January 28th and 30th, almost exactly a year after the incident. Business owners in downtown Halifax say they're getting fed up with crime and other problems, and they want more policing. The CEO of the Downtown Halifax Business Commission was one of the business leaders who went to Ottawa to jointly call for federal action on public safety. Paul McKinnon says while a lot of the issues are being fueled by drug addiction and mental health challenges, organized crime is also playing a growing role.
They're actually going into businesses, threatening that if they aren't given money, then they'll come back and damage the store or do physical violence. So, there's a general concern that crime is going in the wrong direction.
The head of the Spring Garden Road Area Business Association says they were told last week the area is getting an increased police presence. Law enforcement in St. John is asking homeowners to give them a helping hand and register their security cameras.
It saves times for us to not have to go door to door knocking to find if people have cameras. It saves time for everybody. It's better on our resources.
The Safe Neighborhood Camera Registry is a police initiative that would give police a record of cameras within the city. Those who register for the free of charge program would allow police to quickly identify cameras in an area a crime has occurred that could contain evidence to aid an investigation. The information would be stored in a database through policesolutions.ca. Police would not have direct access to the camera feeds and would still need permission to obtain video from camera owners each time. Finally, have you ever wondered what people do with those massive award-winning pumpkins? Well, someone made a donation to make sure the huge fruit was put to good use. You see Henry coming into the screen here, that massive polar bear. He's a resident at a Northern Ontario polar bear habitat, and he is approaching a 1,200-pound pumpkin. And it took the big bear a couple minutes to warm up to the giant treat. Like, what is this little thing over here? But when he did, he carved it up as well as any jack-o'-lantern. He really went into it. And after his sweet feast, Henry sprawled out for a much-deserved nap.
Like, I wouldn't think polar bears would think a pumpkin was a tasty treat.
I know, I wouldn't think so either. But as we have said on this show many a time, we are not zoologists.
We are not zoologists. Okay, it's like he's getting, did they cut it a little bit for him so we could kind of see? Because when you see a pumpkin, like most people's first thought isn't like, I'm going to just take a bite out of that.
Yeah, see, look, there he goes. Take a chomp.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, well, this is a toy.
To be honest, he's not that into it. Like, that's okay. That's
well,
all
he
right.
warms up to it. It takes some time.
So if we had all day, we could just watch him like slowly eat. There's probably a channel for that.
There absolutely is.
Well, thank you. You know, I am a fan of polar bears.
Yeah.
Pumpkins, for that matter. Also curling.
Yeah.
Yes. We love curling around here. If you're a curling fan, then we have a great contest for you. CTV's Your Morning Atlantic and Curling Canada are teaming up to bring you the Shot Rock Sweepstakes. So Canada's top curling teams are headed to Nova Scotia to decide who will represent Canada in 4-player curling at the 2026 Olympic Winter Games. So the 2025 Montana's Canadian Curling Trials, which run from November 22nd to November 30th at Halifax's Scotiabank Centre, are set to deliver a level of intensity only captured in curling once every 4 years. One lucky viewer, that could be you, will win 2 premium full event packages. So to enter, hurry hard to our website. You can use that QR code to get you there. Good luck to you.
Ah, so exciting. I know in our household, we're already talking about getting tickets for it. Because our little guy is into curling.
Yeah, and your husband's into curling.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, still ahead. We're going to have another break on this Tuesday. We certainly hope you'll stay tuned because just ahead, Latavia will have more details on the wet and windy weather. And then it is time for Tia Tuesday. Tia Upshaw will introduce us to the founder of an award-winning platform that empowers children to embrace their natural hair. Please stay with us. We'll be right back at 7:40.
Welcome back. The time now is 7:44. We're taking a live look at Baccaro Point. 9 degrees starting off your day, but we do have some wet weather tracking across your part of the region. Looking at scattered showers expected throughout the day today. We are seeing a warmer start to the day, although cool across the region, but warmer than yesterday at least. 6 degrees starting off your day in Fredericton, with 5 in Charlottetown and in Halifax. 6 degrees in Sydney, with 1 starting off your day in Labrador City. 4 into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do still have special weather statements in effect for parts of Prince Edward Island and parts of Nova Scotia. We are expecting 15 to 50 millimeters plus of precipitation, wind gusts getting up to 80 kilometers per hour, with a wind warning in effect, looking at wind gusts between 70 to 90 kilometers per hour for parts of Cape Breton Island and Prince Edward Island. A rainfall warning also in effect until this evening, looking at around 50 to 80 millimeters of precipitation. We do have a special weather statement also in effect for parts of Newfoundland, looking at around 30 to 40 millimeters of precipitation, and a wind warning with wind gusts getting up to 80 to 110 kilometers per hour. Also have a rain warning in effect until Tuesday night. So tonight, looking at precipitation near 50 millimeters. A special weather statement also in effect for parts of Labrador, looking at precipitation around 50 millimeters and snowfall between 15 centimeters. Here's a look at that system moving across Atlantic Canada. We are seeing mixed precipitation for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador, seeing that heavier rainfall moving into Cape Breton Island. That yellow, we could see some downpours, as well as some wet snow expected for parts of Cape Breton Island. Into the evening hours, we will start to see some clearing of that precipitation, but still holding on until we reach early Wednesday morning. That's when we start to see it really begin to clear out. If you're wondering about precipitation totals, we're looking at around 2 to 5 millimeters across New Brunswick, 5 to 10 for Prince Edward Island. The heaviest of that rainfall situated over into Cape Breton at around 60 to 80 millimeters. And then for Newfoundland, looking at around 10 to 60 millimeters of precipitation. Over to our snowfall outlook, we are going to see around 1 to 5 centimeters for Cape Breton Island, and then looking at 5 to 15 across Newfoundland. Here's a look at your forecast for today. We are seeing showers start off your day across New Brunswick. That will clear into the afternoon, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Wind gusts of up to 70 kilometers per hour. Prince Edward Island looking at periods of rain throughout the day. And for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, we are going to see rain at times heavy throughout your day today. Wind gusts getting up to 80 kilometers per hour. And for the rest of Nova Scotia, rain transitions over to cloudy skies and chance of showers with wind gusts of up to 80 kilometers per hour as well. A high of 3 degrees over in Labrador City, looking at some light snow throughout your day, and a high of 10 degrees over in St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at rain at times heavy. So into Wednesday's forecast, sunshine returns and then increasing cloudiness with another low that will track across the maritime region, bringing mixed precipitation our way. That's a look at your weather. We'll throw things over to Tia Tuesday.
I'm really hoping that the attendees walk away feeling inspired and empowered. And I'll be speaking about, how to transform your life from, survival mode to thriving mode. So it's really exciting opportunity for, African Nova Scotian families, historical families to be at this event, all ages, come out, enjoy, connect, and recreate some more impact in our communities.
in our culture, it's about bringing everybody in. So we're learning from our elders. We're pouring wisdom into our younger ones. We're bringing it in together to almost tie it in a nice and tidy bow. And it's a way of incorporating all aspects of being together. And it is important that we hear from everybody that everybody has a role in our families. Everybody has a role and everybody has a place, and they're all very important. And so we want to make sure that we're bringing that into this space as well.
I was really excited to see that one of the panelists that is going to be attending this conference is Venice Lewis. And Venice went through one of Black Women in Excellence's 16-week startup program. I was her mentor for some time. And to see the growth of her and coming all the way from Ontario here for this conference is fabulous.
I love what this conference is about, the fact that they were creating safe spaces for Black and African families to learn and really build our youth. And for me, as a person who created Naya's Coily World, which is about educating kids and feeling confident about their hair, it perfectly aligns and resonates in a way that we can teach them to step out more boldly in the world once they love and feel empowered to be their true self. Naya's Coily World, our book series, Naya's First Swim, for example, dives into a bold new Afro adventure where Naya is learning to love her Afro hair in the water. And we want kids to feel empowered to wear their natural hair wherever they go. Doesn't matter what activity it is, we want them to feel empowered because if they step out more boldly in the world, they can conquer anything they want. Yeah.
Everybody coming together. I love that interaction between all generations of people, listening to all of the stories that will come through, all of the learnings, and just being in place together.
So the conference is great because providing kids with the skills early on is how they become leaders in the future. And building those skills really sets the foundation for them to take on leadership roles and be empowered to do anything they choose to do.
It's significant because it's a way of bringing the families, the service providers, the funders, organizers, all together, of all ages together to share that we have this strength within us as African Nova Scotian people, and particularly emphasizing that historic piece and that we're pouring back into our future generation. So it's really important that we are making this a really big opportunity, and it's the first time.
Health and medical news now. The Canadian Cancer Society has unveiled a national plan to reduce lung cancer deaths by 30% over the next decade. It's one of the topics in Your Health.
Canada is experiencing a lung cancer crisis, and despite advances in treatment and detection, we're still seeing lung cancer as the highest cause of cancer death.
The organization is calling it an unprecedented effort to change the trajectory of the country's deadliest cancer. The action plan outlines 4 priorities: reducing exposure to carcinogenic inhalants, early detection, ensuring access to best-in-class care, and accelerating research. The plan also confronts the long-standing stigma and misconception that lung cancer is solely a smoker's disease. Finally, a new study reveals a happier country equals a healthier one. The report, published in Frontiers in Medicine, looked at the happiness levels of 123 countries. They found countries that invested in well-being services like curbing obesity, alcohol use, and pollution had happier populations, which reduced deaths from chronic diseases.
And we just have one milestone to pass along for you today. It's a 64th anniversary, for Eileen and Richard Burt of Lewisdale, Nova Scotia.
Okay, let's take a moment for Eileen's dress, shall we? Wow, all of it. Congratulations, Eileen and Richard. Now, to see your milestone again or find out how to submit one, visit our website by scanning that QR code on your screen. And a reminder, milestones must be received 2 weeks in advance.
Milestones, brought to you by the Berkeley Retirement Residences. Love this stage of life.
And now we want to know, how do you feel about going to the dentist? Well, it can be scary for some, especially kids.
A children's book and a traveling show are hoping to provide a little encouragement to kids who may be a bit nervous. CTV's Maria Saru brushes up on the details.
Look up.
Ask kids how they feel about the dentist, and some will tell you,
not good.
It can be a scary experience.
Last time I was there, I had a needle right here and I couldn't eat any crunchy stuff.
The magic toothbrush is trying to change that. It's a school presentation approved by the PEI Education Department based on a book by the same name. Author Marlene Bryanton says she used to be nervous about the dentist too.
It can be very, very upsetting when you go to the office and you're so tense. I wanted the children to enjoy their visit.
The story starts with two children meeting a magician. He gifts them special toothbrushes that sing, dance, and teach them how to take care of their teeth.
I learned to brush your teeth up, down, all around, every night and morning.
When the characters visit the dentist, it feels like a fun adventure.
We talk about, the chairs and who's going to be there, what they're going to do. We talk about some of the instruments.
Island dentists say it's making a real difference in their clinics.
We have the book here. When you have a 3-year-old that's never been in a dental office before, they don't know what to expect. Any opportunity such as this book that can help to reduce that impact is great.
Back at Charlottetown's Sherwood Elementary,
I think I can go to the dentist now.
The presentation has done the trick. This big toothbrush and this storybook are off to the next island school on the calendar. Bryanton says the dream is a cross-country run with a French edition first in hopes of fewer jitters. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Taking a look at our 3-day forecast, wet weather moving through New Brunswick will clear out into the late morning and afternoon, leaving a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 7 degrees today. On Wednesday, we will be seeing mainly sunny skies, but into the evening, we do have a chance of showers and or flurries moving in for the central and northern region. Then on Thursday, mixed precipitation expected across the province with a high of 6. Nova Scotia also seeing wet weather today, a high of 9 degrees. On Wednesday, looking at a high of 10. Clouds will increase into the afternoon and rain expected into the evening. On Thursday, another wet day ahead with a high of 5. Prince Edward Island looking at wet weather today as well with a high of 7, 8 degrees on Wednesday. We're seeing sunshine into the afternoon and rain moves back in on Thursday with a high of 6.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
It's Tuesday, November 4th. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, breaking news, Dick Cheney, one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents of U.S. history, has died. Your top news headlines just ahead. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Breaking and developing news this morning regarding U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney passing away. He passed away yesterday at the age of 84 years old. This is new developing news this morning, and I will have more details coming up in our news headlines. But major news this morning coming from the States.
Thank you very much for that. Also important news for people. The ferries are canceled.
Yeah, a number of ferry crossings around the region. It's noted that the Digby to St. John Ferry, that one not happening. It's still happening, the 8:30 crossing, but after that, they're going to cut the crossings because of the high winds today.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to be out on choppy water. It's not safe. It's not fun. I'll tell you that right now. There's not enough gravel in the world.
Exactly. And we are seeing that wet weather and those strong winds right across the region. So definitely something to keep in mind when you are heading out early this morning. A cloudy start to your day over in St. John. We are seeing currently 6 degrees and expecting showers on and off throughout your day today. So also keep that in mind. Prepare for cooler temperatures and wet weather ahead. 6 degrees starting off your day in Fredericton with 5 into Charlottetown, as well as into Halifax. 6 degrees early this morning in Sydney with 4 into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have a special weather statement and wind warning in effect for parts of Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. We do have a rainfall warning in effect for parts of Cape Breton Island. Also seeing a special weather statement into Labrador and Newfoundland, and looking at a wind warning for parts of Newfoundland as well as a rain warning. Here's a look at that current system tracking across the region today, bringing rain, at times heavy, as well as some mixed precipitation to parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. And wind will be picking up a little bit later across the Maritimes. As of right now, out of the northwest, 37 kilometers per hour into Yarmouth, 28 in Canso, with 19 in Lunenburg. Few wind gusts to notify you of, getting up to 54 kilometers per hour in Yarmouth and 37 in Canso. We'll have another look at your long-range forecast just ahead, but first another look at your local news headlines with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. And we begin with breaking news stateside. Dick Cheney, one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents of U.S. history, has died. Cheney died Monday of complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. The hard-charging conservative became one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents and a leading advocate for the invasion of Iraq. Cheney led the armed forces as defense chief during the Persian Gulf War under President George H.W. Bush before returning to public life as vice president under his son, George W. Bush. In recent years, he became a stout defender of his daughter, Liz Cheney, when she became the leading Republican critic and examiner of Donald Trump's actions surrounding the January 6, 2021 insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Dick Cheney was 84 years old. Back to news here in the Maritimes. Due to the high winds, a number of ferry crossings in our region are canceled for today. Marine Atlantic says crossings between North Sydney and Port aux Basques are canceled for today and tomorrow morning. Northumberland Ferries says the sailings after 8:30 a.m. between Wood Islands, PEI, and Caribou, Nova Scotia are canceled. Also, the Fundy Rose will leave Digby earlier. That departure time moved up from 4 p.m. to 1 p.m. Prime Minister Mark Carney's government is set to unveil its first budget today. Around here, those in agriculture say Ottawa could support the sector to bring down prices at the grocery store.
We're hoping that there is a food security and food affordability focus with this budget. And we see a lot of cross-pollination opportunities because so many of the transportation and infrastructure projects that would benefit agriculture benefit rural economies as a whole.
The federal government has already promised $1.25 billion for the softwood lumber industry, but the sector here and across the country will be looking for more today.
Let's use this as a moment to future-proof and future-ready our industry and to support our workers.
This will be the first fiscal update in almost a year and Carney's first as Prime Minister. The fiscal update comes as Canada continues to grapple with the U.S. trade war. Carney has described it as being a budget of both austerity and investment. Homeowners in Fredericton are being told not to expect a tax cut this year. The city is pointing the finger at the province's decision to freeze assessments for the coming year. It has left the city struggling to find dollars.
So the vast majority of property tax bills next year will be the exact same as they were for 2025. But we have seen large increases, the same as a typical homeowner would have, for lights and power, for fuel, for just regular repairs and maintenance that we see on our aging infrastructure and our vehicles.
There hasn't been a comprehensive discussion on municipal finance reform to date. That is something that the municipal sector in New Brunswick is expecting out of the current provincial government.
The assessment freeze was implemented to give the Holt government time to work on an overhaul of the property tax system, now supposed to be complete by 2027. Halifax RCMP are investigating a weekend homicide in North Preston. Police say they were called to reports of shots fired around the dinner hour Sunday. When they arrived, officers found 28-year-old Jaden Tynes with gunshot wounds. He later died in hospital. Investigators are looking for dashcam footage around Kane and Clarence Streets Sunday afternoon. A well-known maritimer, entrepreneur, and humanitarian has died. Bill Mont passed away a week ago. Credited with introducing the flea market concept to the region in the 70s, he also owned an auction and real estate company, a cemetery, and other ventures. He also purchased Devil's Island at the mouth of the Halifax Harbor and saved a number of heritage properties over the years. His family notes he was a passionate animal lover and collector of pretty much everything. Bill Mont never shied away from the spotlight either, appearing in more than 20 movies over the years and was a regular caller on talk radio programs. Bill Mont was 96 years old. Finally, it was a clean sweep for Kenya at the New York City Marathon Sunday, with Kenyans claiming all the podium places for the men and women's races. This is the women's finish, and oh my gosh, wait till you see the men's finish too. So you are looking at Helen O'Beary, who won the women's race, setting a course record with a time of 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 51 seconds. Now on the men's side, look at this finish. This was so intense.
Very close. Whoa.
Yeah, Benson Kipruto survived a late push by Alexander Mutuso to win gold with a time of 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 9 seconds. It was just a unbelievable finish. Kipruto won by a fraction of a second. So the New York City Marathon, it marks the end of the 2025 World Marathon Majors calendar.
Like, they're ripping. But you know how fast they're going? That's the end of a marathon.
I know, I know. My husband and I...
These elite women, oh my gosh, how can they keep that up for 2 hours and change?
Oh, unbelievable, unbelievable. Yeah, my husband and I were watching this race at home. Yeah, the men's finish. Just incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the end of the World Majors calendar, too. Sydney, Australia was added this year. That was a big one. Yeah, back at the end of August, early September.
Well, that was some impressive running.
I know, yeah. So Kenyans claimed it. They were amazing. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
We're going to stay stateside for a second. A local police unit in Florida has a new helper to assist in a search and rescue and recovery efforts. It's Splash, a search and rescue or a search and recovery otter. He's trained in scent detection and recovery work. His sharp senses should help officers find people lost in bodies of water, especially murky ones.
Wow.
So they're saying that we do love our service dogs, but the otter does this work in the water. His keen sense of scent does not go away in the water.
Wow.
I know.
And it's adorable.
So right?
Yeah. Like, I'd want that to find me.
Amazing. So who knew?
I
that
know.
otters can begin to do that kind of work. I know, there you are.
Oh, that is so sweet. We're going to keep the animal conversation going because coming up next we have Pet Talk. That is with the Nova Scotia SPCA. Also, too late, Tavia will have more details on the very wet and windy forecast, and I'll have your national and international news headlines coming up.
Time now is 8:10. We're taking a live look at Peggy's Cove. 6 degrees starting off your day, and we are seeing wet weather moving right across Atlantic Canada. Something to keep in mind when you are heading out today. Weather is brought to you by the Atlantic Lottery mobile app. A cool start to the day, but a bit warmer than we saw Monday morning. As of right now, 4 degrees heading outdoors in Bathurst, with 6 starting off your day in Fredericton, 5 in Charlottetown and in Halifax, 7 degrees in Sydney, and 5 degrees into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do still have special weather statements in effect for Prince Edward Island and parts of Nova Scotia. Going to see rainfall between 15 to 50 millimeters plus. We do have that wind warning in effect, looking at wind gusts between 70 to 90 kilometers per hour. A rainfall warning in effect for parts of Cape Breton until this evening, looking at around 50 to 80 millimeters of precipitation. And we do have a special weather statement in effect for parts of Newfoundland. A wind warning in effect, could see wind gusts 80 to 110 kilometers per hour, and a rainfall warning in effect. Precipitation nearing 50 millimeters. We do also have a special weather statement in effect for parts of Labrador, seeing rainfall nearing 50 millimeters. Here's a look at that system currently tracking across Atlantic Canada. We are going to see that heavier downpours and precipitation for parts of Cape Breton Island, eastern Nova Scotia. We do have mixed precipitation tracking across parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. And then into later this morning, still seeing that heavier rainfall indicated in that yellow for Cape Breton. And then into the evening hours, that's when we start to see some precipitation clear out of parts of the Maritime region, taking us into early Wednesday morning, still holding on to a bit of precipitation for the Maritime region and still seeing mixed precipitation for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. If you're wondering about rainfall totals, we're looking at around 2 to 5 millimeters across New Brunswick, 5 to 10 for Prince Edward Island. The heaviest of that rainfall, as I had mentioned, looks to be in Cape Breton Island, around 60 to 80 millimeters expected. And going to see around 10 to 60 millimeters for Newfoundland. In terms of our snowfall outlook, we're going to see around 1 to 5 centimeters into parts of Cape Breton Island. And for Newfoundland, looking at around 5 to 30 millimeters expected, centimeters rather. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick. Showers will transition over to a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. Daytime highs between 7 to 10 degrees and wind gusts getting up to 70 kilometers per hour. For Prince Edward Island, looking at periods of rain throughout the day, wind gusts of up to 50. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, seeing rain at times heavy, wind gusts between 50 to 80 kilometers per hour. And for the rest of Nova Scotia, rain will transition over to cloudy skies with a chance of scattered showers and wind gusts of 80 as well. For Newfoundland and Labrador, we're looking at some light snowfall throughout your day with a high of 3 degrees in Labrador City, 10 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Rain at times heavy expected throughout your day as well. For Wednesday's forecast, we will be seeing sunshine for parts of the Maritime region, still holding on to some light snowfall for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. And then another system will move in Wednesday night into Thursday early morning, and we are looking at a chance of flurries for parts of New Brunswick, still seeing that wet weather track across the region, and some light flurry action for Cape Breton. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda for your news, national and news. I'm throwing it over to Amanda.
I got it. Thank you so much, Latavia. Time is 8:14, and we begin with developing news stateside. Dick Cheney, one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents of U.S. history, has died. Cheney died Monday of complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. The hard-charging conservative became one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents and a leading advocate for the invasion of Iraq. Cheney led the armed forces as defense chief during the Persian Gulf War under President George H.W. Bush before returning to public life as vice president under his son, George W. Bush. In recent years, he became a stout defender of his daughter, Liz Cheney, when she became the leading Republican critic and examiner of Donald Trump's actions surrounding the January 6, 2021 insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Dick Cheney was 84 years old. As we approach Remembrance Day, Canadians are finding ways to honor the men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice for this country. One retirement home has found a way to pay tribute with something small that will make a big impact. CTV's Katie Griffin has that story.
All right.
Inside these boxes,
I think you're going to need more cards.
Yeah. Precious cargo.
I did 225 myself, and it's been a joy to do them for the kids.
Noella Claroux is a resident at Kentville Retirement Living. She and others knitting hundreds of Izzy dolls.
We had a knitting club on Tuesday, and we all got together and we all knit.
The dolls, symbols of friendship and peace, are named after Master Corporal Mark Isfeld. He was killed by a landmine while on tour in Croatia 31 years ago. Before his death, his mom made dolls he distributed to children wherever he went.
We have 883 Izzy dolls with us today.
His legacy living on.
It's amazing. In one swoop, they've given us more dolls than we raised all of last year.
The group donating the dolls to the Canada Aviation and Space Museum.
So what we do with them is after November, we pile them together and we send them over to Health Partners International Canada, HPIC, who use them as packing materials for their medical kits that they send out to places in need.
Dolls are then distributed to local children.
And of course, I had to hop on board. We had so many donations of wool, every different color and kind, and it was just fun to pick out different ones and make our own creations.
It's something to do together. A lot of these ladies would knit in their room before, and now they come and they gather in the main lounge and they knit together.
Making a big impact, one tiny doll at a time.
Really like a picture of kids receiving them to put up in our home.
Katie Griffin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Thank you so much, Katie. We're going to take a quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. Lots still to come in the last 40 minutes of the show. Please stay with us.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Welcome back. It's 8:20. Now, often when one decides to adopt a pet, most will gravitate toward getting a dog or cat. But what about looking into another companion animal? Shelter liaison Alicia Avendano of the SPCA joins us to share the details on some of the other companion animals they have available for adoptions, particularly bunnies. Well, first of all, good morning, Alicia.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure. Who is this?
This is
Fig, one of our adoptable bunnies at our Dartmouth location. He's looking for his, forever home and quiet place to go and settle. He was found out underneath a staircase on a property, so definitely ready to settle in with his people.
Yeah, this is a domestic rabbit for sure. He doesn't absolutely. He cannot survive outside on his own. He's beautiful. He's actually a really good bunny. He's stunning to look at, but also incredibly calm. You just pulled him out of his little carrier there, and I mean, he's not used to being on TV.
No, he's handling his fame very well.
He really is. He's lovely, lovely, and he's available. If somebody saw Fig and thought, well, he's a wonderful animal, he's available.
Absolutely.
You have a lot of bunnies right now. Explain what's going on.
Well, truthfully, bunnies, when they come into our care, it's a little difficult sometimes to tell if they are bearing any type of pups. So in this case, we do have quite a few baby bunnies that were born in care as of recently, quite a few mums. So it certainly ups our numbers there when that happens. So our biggest request these days is bunny fosters.
Okay. Now, for people at home who aren't familiar, what kind of pets do rabbits make?
They're actually quite the character. I think a lot of people don't realize that our pocket pets and our little critters like this actually can be quite playful. They can be trained very similarly to cats and dogs. So you can get them through their obstacles, do some agility type training. And ultimately, as you can see with Fig, they're very quiet and docile creatures. So they can kind of snuggle up with you and just enjoy your company.
Yes, and in our experience, we had a rabbit for the longest time, and he was a wonderful social animal. We got him as a replacement for a cat because I'm allergic to cats.
Perfect replacement.
Exactly.
Yes,
so we trained, his name is Gunther, we trained him to jump up on my lap, just like Fig is with you. We'd watch TV together. He was a very, very social. When I walked in the room, that rabbit would run and put his head down, and I'll just pet, and he would want a little pat behind the ears, just like that.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
They're very, 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 and they are social, and they don't make a lot of noise, but you can tell he's happy because he'll do a little grinding of his teeth called a teeth purr. And they just learn to become very much a part of your family. They can be a wonderful pet. And you know what's nothing softer than a bunny?
Oh, nothing in this entire world. It is one of my favorite things, I must say. Especially this morning, I get extra bunny pats.
He's doing a little teeth purr. You love this, Fig. Yes, you do. Okay, so if people wanted to help out, I know that you do have a lot of bunnies right now. How do you become a foster?
So you can go to our website, the Nova Scotia SPCA, and fill out an application online. You're able to specify what kind of foster you'd be looking to be. So you can just select rabbits there or small critters on our list. And we'll get you all set up, likely with some babies or some young rabbits where they do need to wait quite the time for their surgery. It's usually what makes their length of stay so long with us.
Okay, so yes, they've got to be spayed or neutered.
Yes, spayed or neutered, but because of bunnies and just the way that their, anatomy is, we do have to wait until at least 5 or 6 months. So when they are teeny tiny, when they come into us, it is quite the extended stay in shelter. So we really, really rely on our fosters to be able to.
Yeah, rabbits are high maintenance for the SPCA because you've got to keep them so much longer than other animals.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
And if you wanted to adopt a rabbit outright, what's the process for that?
Similar to our kitty cats, you can come on in or look at our website and pick one that, steals your heart. So if it was Fig, you can fill out an application and then we get you all sorted the same day on site.
Okay, wonderful. You have a lot of rabbits on the site right now, many different, and if you look at the site, some of those rabbits are quite exotic and expensive. Yes. You can have a luxury rabbit.
Exactly.
If you're just for the cost of the adoption fee. Oh my gosh, Fig is really a cutie. Yeah. People at home, he's a black bunny, so he doesn't show up as well on camera, but he has little face. Oh my goodness, and he's got that little nose. Wonderful. Anything else you want our viewers to know about what's going on at the SPCA?
Again, fosters are such a big part of our overall makeup. We are really, really thankful to everyone who is already fostering, but are very excited to welcome any new ones, as well as, our volunteers that come and help enrich the bunnies that are still in our care with us.
Okay, perfect. And of course, if you want to support the SPCA, we have put their website on ours so you can check out the adoptions for bunnies and all other creatures, check out fostering, and also check out how you can make a donation. But another way to donate is to shop at the SPCA thrift stores.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fig. You were a model citizen. And now we'll turn our attention over to Latavia for a 3-day.
Thanks, Crystal. Taking a look at New Brunswick, showers starting to clear out, leaving sunshine, a high of 7 degrees. We will be seeing mainly sunny skies on Wednesday. Into the evening, showers and/or flurries move into the northern and central region of the province. Then on Thursday, we're looking at mixed precipitation throughout the day with a high of 6. Nova Scotia also seeing wet weather today with a high of 9. On Wednesday, mainly sunny skies with increasing cloudiness. And then into the evening, rain returns. Thursday, we're looking at a high of 5 degrees with rain across the province. Prince Edward Island seeing wet weather today as well with a high of 7 degrees. On Wednesday, clouds will clear out, leaving sunshine into the afternoon. And then on Thursday, looking at a high of 6 degrees with rain across the island.
Still ahead this morning, a cozy festive season. Designer Tori Wesser will share her new affordable holiday collection from Walmart. It's just ahead on the last half hour of CTV's Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning and welcome back. The time now is 8:29. It is Tuesday and it's a wet start to the day, but we are seeing precipitation start to clear out for parts of the region. Can't complain.
Yeah, it's starting to clear out for parts. Okay, good to know. Well, we need the rain.
Exactly.
When a good storm comes in, I love when it's productive. Like we're getting a fair bit of rain from it, and then it's good to get that benefit from a storm.
Yeah, before we know it, we'll be talking about snow.
We already are.
Well, some are.
Yeah, some already are going to see some mixed precipitation across the region. But it's funny because we went through such a drought, and now this week, every couple of days, we're going to have some precipitation moving in.
Okay, well, that is a pattern we're used to.
Yes, exactly.
Us Atlantic Canadians, we can handle it.
Yeah, getting back on track, that's for sure. Here's a live look at Port de Grave this morning. It's looking quite dry, and we are seeing a cloudy start to the day. Temperature is slowly warming up this morning, so it is a bit cool, though. Keep that in mind, and wind will be picking up for much of the region, helping to make it a bit more breezy. So dress accordingly. Starting off this morning, 7 degrees in Fredericton, 5 early this morning in Charlottetown and in Halifax, 7 degrees in Sydney, and 5 into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have watches and warnings in effect. Special weather statement in effect for Prince Edward Island, parts of Nova Scotia, a wind warning in effect for both Prince Edward Island and parts of Cape Breton Island, a rainfall warning in effect for parts of Cape Breton, as well as a special weather statement in effect for parts of Labrador and parts of Newfoundland, with a wind warning also in effect and a rain warning in effect. So we do have quite some watches and warnings in effect early this morning. Here's that system that's tracking across the Maritimes and moving over to Newfoundland and Labrador, so bringing that wet weather our way. We will be seeing some heavy downpours as well, so keep that in mind if you are heading out on your early morning commute. Here's a look at the wind. Currently quite light for much of the Maritime region, will be picking up into the afternoon. Out of the northwest, 44 kilometers per hour in Yarmouth, 31 in Canso, with 19 in Halifax, 13 in Truro, 17 in Woodstock and Edmonton. Wind gusts getting up to 67 in Yarmouth, 43 in Canso, 31 in Fredericton and Grand Manan. We'll have one last look at your long-range forecast just ahead, but first, one last look at your local news headlines with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. And we begin with breaking news in Fredericton. Police say they are investigating threats made towards several local schools this morning. This is a look at the social media post made by police. Police say threats were made toward Fredericton High School, George Street Middle School, Nashwauk Sis Middle School, and Barker's Point Elementary School. Those schools are now closed for the day. The school board says buses already en route will be turning around and returning students home. The post by police goes on to say, out of an abundance of caution, there will be an increased police presence in and around these schools. Police are also asking people to avoid those schools until further notice. No details on the extent of the threats themselves have been released by police. Due to the high winds, a number of ferry crossings in our region are canceled for today. Marine Atlantic says crossings between North Sydney and Port aux Basques are canceled for today and tomorrow morning. Northumberland Ferries says the sailings after 8:30 a.m. between Wood Islands, PEI, and Caribou, Nova Scotia are canceled. Also, the Fundy Rose will leave Digby earlier. That departure time moved up from 4 p.m. to 1 p.m. And breaking news stateside, Dick Cheney, one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents of U.S. history, has died. Cheney died Monday of complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. The hard-charging conservative became one of the most powerful and polarizing vice presidents and a leading advocate for the invasion of Iraq. Cheney led the armed forces as defense chief during the Persian Gulf War under President George H.W. Bush before returning to public life as vice president under his son, George W. Bush. Dick Cheney was 84 years old. And staying in the U.S., the Supreme Court there will hear a case about tariffs. The court will hear arguments tomorrow in a case where some small businesses say Trump's use of emergency powers to invoke tariffs is illegal and has forced them to lay off employees and raise prices. For more on this and its impact on Canadians, we bring in CTV's Scott Hurst. Scott, the fallout from President Trump's decision to end tariff talks with Canada, that's remained to be a top issue for premiers right across the country. So let's start there. What's the latest we've been hearing from our premiers?
Good morning, Amanda. Of course, every premier from coast to coast has pushed back at some point against the economic threats coming from the White House, some more forcefully than others, some more publicly than others, most notably Ontario Premier Doug Ford, much more publicly with the release of the ad campaign that targeted specifically American viewers that, as we've seen, has gotten under the skin of U.S. President Donald Trump. And now, as we know, he then canceled trade talks with Ottawa and hiking tariffs even further. Meanwhile, the Premier of BC says his province is now abandoning plans for a series of anti-tariff ads aimed at American audience as well. Premier Eby arguing that the shift in strategy is to better align the fight against tariffs with the federal government. BC in particular greatly impacted by softwood lumber tariffs. Here's more from both premiers and each of the reactions to these separate ad campaigns.
I'd never apologize to Donald Trump. Donald Trump's trying to destroy our province, destroy our country, steal manufacturing jobs and auto sector jobs.
So we've committed to the federal government that when the time comes to be speaking directly to Americans, we'll do it in partnership with them. We will not be running the ads by ourselves. We'll make sure that we're in line with strategy going forward.
So, Amanda, at this point, despite the fact that the trade talks between the U.S. and Canada are at a standstill in reaction to the ad from the Ontario Premier, Doug Ford maintains he and the Prime Minister still remain in close contact and still have a good relationship.
Okay, and the U.S. Supreme Court, as we mentioned, will begin hearing arguments about the use of tariffs tomorrow. How could the court's decision impact our country?
Yeah, all eyes on the Supreme Court really from around the world because there could be far-ranging implications, notably here for Canadians as well, and also a huge test of U.S. presidential powers. But bottom line for the Canadian economy and the industries forced to pay, regardless of the decision coming from the Supreme Court, it won't impact all the tariffs imposed on the Canadian economy. The targeted tariffs really hammering Canadians' steel industry, aluminum, autos, copper, and lumber. Those will remain regardless of the decision coming from the Supreme Court. Those are Donald Trump's industry-specific tariffs. Businesses, of course, paying the price, workers feeling the pinch as job losses are adding up north of the border. So here is what the Supreme Court specifically will be looking at. First, the so-called Liberation Day tariffs imposed by the Trump administration on a whole host of countries around the world, and also the fentanyl-specific tariffs imposed on Canada and Mexico. Trump has invoked those using national emergency powers, specifically, as I mentioned, to combat the flow of fentanyl that he claims is flooding across the border. So the Supreme Court will take up that tomorrow and hear arguments from all sides, as all sides involved have asked the Supreme Court for an expedited decision. But all eyes specifically on the Supreme Court, Amanda, beginning tomorrow, because there could be implications for so many industries here in Canada.
That's so true. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that Wednesday. Scott, thank you so much for your time this morning. CTV Scott Hurst reporting live for us from our national newsroom in Toronto. Finally, in Mexico, families waited for souls of their loved ones to return during Day of the Dead celebrations. The celebrations start on October 31st and they go for 3 days, so they just wrapped up. It's a time when families welcome the souls of their dead loved ones with lit candles, incense, and also their favorite food and drinks. And these celebrations just beautiful to watch.
It would be a great thing to be there to see this parade.
In person.
Yeah.
Right. All the puppetry, the masks,
Fascinating. The choreography, the choreography that goes into the parade. Lots and lots of preparation.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this little one is the main attraction at a farm in the UK. Emphasis on mane. It's Pam, the Shetland pony. Look at her pretty little mane there. She was born in July. She was barely the size of a dog when she was born.
Wow.
She's known for her curiosity and confidence, which is something the Shetland breed is well known for, but they're considered hardy and friendly ponies. So she's now a therapy pony, and a particularly cute one at that. On the small side, though, even for a Shetland.
A My Little Pony.
It is My Little Pony. Oh my gosh, she's so, there's some of
ponies
Pam's
are
buddies.
sweet. They can be feisty, though.
Oh, yeah, sure they can.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Bring her into the studio. I want to meet Pam.
Oh, we haven't had a miniature horse or a little pony in the studio ever.
No, no.
Maybe?
Let's write that wrong.
Yeah.
In any case.
Vicky's thinking, yeah, maybe at one
Over
point
the
we
years,
probably-
not in my experience.
We need one.
I think we do. I think we do. Okay, what's going on else in our, what else is going on in our community?
We'll take a look at the community calendar, highlighting some more events. So starting off, A Human Picture. This is a documentary screening taking place in St. John, New Brunswick. This will take place at the St. John Public Library today. So if you want additional information, head to the website on your screen. And the 38th annual Tree Oaks Christmas Craft Fair takes place in Summerside this upcoming weekend. You can head over to Three Oaks Senior High to get into the holiday spirit, browse some of their handmade gifts, and enjoy delicious food. There will be so much more. Head over to their Facebook event page. And the screening of The Pitch takes place in Halifax Wednesday, November 5th. It is a behind-the-scenes look at the creation of the Northern Super League and the historic step forward for gender equality within professional sports in Canada. So the screening will be held at the Canadian Museum of Immigration at Pier 21. For tickets, head over to the website on your screen. And if you do have an upcoming event, we would love to promote it. Head over to Your Morning Atlantic at ctv.ca and send us those details.
That is the place to do it. You can also send us a text, 10400. That's also a great place.
So
you can
easy.
do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we're going to be talking about holiday decorations and where you can pick them up. That's coming up with our last guest on the Tuesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Degrees early this morning in Lockport. Welcome back. The time now is 8:43. We are seeing a chance of scattered showers expected throughout the day today in your area, so something to keep in mind when you are heading out. We are seeing a cooler start to the day, but a bit warmer than we saw yesterday morning. But winds will be picking up for much of Atlantic Canada, becoming quite breezy and windy, so you may want to dress accordingly. 7 degrees starting off your day in Fredericton, 5 early this morning in Charlottetown, as well as into Halifax and Sydney, 1 into Labrador City, and 5 degrees in St. John's, Newfoundland. We do still have special weather statements in effect across Prince Edward Island, parts of Nova Scotia. We are expecting rainfall between 15 to 50 millimeters plus, as well as a wind warning in effect. Wind gusts between 70 to 90 kilometers per hour expected. We do still have a rain warning in effect as well for parts of Cape Breton Island. Seeing a special weather statement in effect for parts of Newfoundland, expecting 30 to 40 millimeters of precipitation, and a wind warning in effect for parts of Newfoundland as well, 80 to 110 kilometers per hour. We do have a rainfall warning in effect as well. We're expecting precipitation nearing 50 millimeters, as well as a special weather statement in effect for parts of Labrador, rather. So here's a look at our forecast timeline. This wet weather tracking right across Atlantic Canada. We are expecting some light snow for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador, as well as precipitation. And over to Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, that's where the heaviest of that rainfall is situated early in the morning. Into the afternoon, much of the same is expected. For New Brunswick, we will be seeing a mix of sun and cloud as we inch towards the evening hours, starting to see that precipitation move out of the maritime region, bringing us into early Wednesday morning. If you're wondering about precipitation totals, looking around 2 to 5 millimeters for New Brunswick, around 5 to 10 across Prince Edward Island. The heaviest of that precipitation expected for Cape Breton at around 60 to 80 millimeters. And then for Newfoundland, looking at around 10 to 60 millimeters expected. We do have our snowfall outlook this morning. We're going to see around 1 to 5 centimeters of snowfall for parts of Cape Breton Island and seeing around 5 to 30 centimeters for Newfoundland. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick. We're going to see showers start off the day, clearing out, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Wind gusts getting up to 70 kilometers per hour. And then for Prince Edward Island, highs between 7 to 8 degrees. Periods of rain expected throughout your day. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, rain at times heavy as well, with wind gusts getting up to 80. For the rest of Nova Scotia, seeing rain transition over to a chance of scattered showers and seeing 80 kilometers per hour for your wind gusts. And then for Newfoundland and Labrador, 3 degrees in Labrador City with light snowfall expected throughout your day. Rain at times heavy for Newfoundland and looking at 10 degrees for St. John's. Over to our Wednesday forecast, we are going to see sunshine return for the Maritime region, still holding on to some light snowfall for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. And then into Wednesday evening, early Thursday morning, we do have another low that will track across the Maritime region, bringing some light snowfall and or flurries for parts of New Brunswick and seeing some heavier rainfall expected yet again, Crystal.
Thank you, Latavia. It's a great time to remind you how you can connect with us. Your Morning Atlantic at ctv.ca. That is our email address. You can also text us at 10400. We'd love to hear from you anytime. We especially love getting your photos and videos. And now we'll turn our attention back over to Latavia.
Now that it's November, preparations are slowly on the way for the holiday season. So for tips on creating a cozy, beautiful holiday season, we welcome our partner, lifestyle contributor, Tori Wesser. She's bringing us the latest collection from Walmart. Good morning, Tori.
Good morning. So great to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. And we want to know, what are you most excited about for this holiday season?
Well, you know, creating that picture perfect home, you know, the one that you see out of the Hallmark movies is all great in theory. And then you go to start decorating and it can feel so overwhelming and quite frankly, expensive. And I've always just thought it doesn't need to be that way. It's how I grew up. My mom really elevated the holidays without breaking the bank. And it's really why I was so excited to partner with Walmart to create this fresh holiday collection. Love the idea of affordable luxury. And I thought, you know what, let's prove that you don't need to break the bank over the holidays to get a gorgeous elevated house.
I definitely agree with you there.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So let's do this. As a foodie, I always think when I think of decorating, I think of starting with the table. It's really where all that holiday magic starts. Honestly, it's where the great conversations happen, the real connection, the whole point of the holidays. And I love giving people tips and tricks to elevate their holiday table, you know, make it that place that you want to hunker down and enjoy for hours without spending a lot of money. So I thought I'd give you a few tips here. I always love to start with a table runner. And the one in the collection is just gorgeous, very elevated, very chic. And then you want to just think about building layers. And again, it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be expensive. Add some garland or some swags with some greenery to add some texture. I have a couple in the collection that are just gorgeous. And then add some height. You want to think about adding different height. Let's make it all interesting. We have stunning dinnerware set that goes with the collection. And then candlesticks. You know, you can add the different heights of candlesticks. And something that's very on trend, which I love, are bows. And we have these clip-on velvet bows in the collection that are really lovely. And you can put those right onto the candlesticks and they look so good.
I'm loving how you set that table. All right, now let's head outside. So when we step outside, the decor really sets the tone for the season. So what are some easy, affordable ways that we can make the front yard or patio sparkle with holiday cheer?
Yes, you don't have to go overboard. And I just think less is more. I love the classy look. And you want to give your guests a warm welcome. And not only your guests, you want to give you a warm welcome. You're coming home. It's probably dark. You know, it's winter in Canada. And you want to be like, I'm home. And so to create that, you really just need a few special touches. You don't need a lot to make that look happen. And in the collection, we have just that. We have these, oh my goodness, let me start. We have these wreaths. I love wreaths on the door. We have a beautiful one with these velvet bows, a cream velvet bow. And then what I like to do is I take those hooks and then I hang some brass bells in the center of them. And it's just such a class act. And then you can work your way through layers. Again, it's all about layers. Porch trees that are pre-lit, add that little warm ambiance. It just makes your front porch or front door just feel like a winter wonderland. Again, garland, some more brass bells. And simply, honestly, you could just put a new mat out, a holiday mat. I love the one, again, that we have in the collection. It's very affordable. And it just goes to show you don't need to break the bank to create this classy, timeless look that just feels so elevated and elegant.
Absolutely. And we're running out of time. But before we go, the Christmas tree and obviously the fireplace mantle are the heart of the holidays. What can we do to spruce those up?
For sure. Well, you want them to tell the same story. You don't want it to look super disjointed because you spend a lot of time there. It's sad is coming. So we want to tie the same elements in. So you think about matching textures. That's one thing I love about this collection is that we have all sorts of different products that all are mix and match. So you can really create a curated, beautiful collection. For instance, stockings that have this like a little ruffled bow, and then we have the tree skirt to match. So we just made it really easy to use those similar elements from match, but where the front door to the table to the Christmas tree and that whole area to make your home feel like warm and elevated. Everything can be found on walmart.ca, or you can find it in select stores. And I just love that we can make the holidays feel special for people without the high price tag.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tori. I can't wait to see the full collection.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And that was our partner, lifestyle contributor, Tori Wesser.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Welcome back. Before we get to the answers of the Move Morning Chat, I want to remind you that you can always go to our website for the latest and breaking news, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. We are working on getting more details on those threats made to schools in the Fredericton area. And also we're hearing about a threat made to a school in Dieppe as well. So those details continuing on our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. And now we'd like to share with you the responses to our Move Morning Chat. So today we were asking, what was a movie that you watched all the time as a family? Whether that was growing up or your family now. And here's what you had to say. James from Kansas says, Uncle Buck is one of my favorite movies. It just makes me feel good. So someone else who's a fan of John Candy.
John Hughes movies, too.
Oh, yeah.
John Candy, but also John Hughes movies.
Oh, yes.
Yes, very good.
Yeah. Nicole says, my family's comfort movie is Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I love the theme of the movie so much. I got a Stitch tattoo with the word Ohana as a reminder that nobody gets left behind or forgotten. That's
beautiful.
Yeah, because of course that meaning family. Very sweet. I wonder if she liked the live action. The little girl was so cute. Barbara says The Princess Bride. Inconceivable.
Oh my gosh, yes.
My cousins from the States, we visit in the summer yearly. We watch this movie multiple times each summer. Love it. Still stands up.
It does. Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, such a good one.
It's a good one.
Natalie from Shediac says Finding Nemo.
Oh, that's beautiful. And all the spin-offs.
And the spin-offs. We played that one the other day for our son, and oh yeah, we were crying for sure.
Oh yeah.
And Dawn says for us as kids, it was definitely The Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, Dawn, I could watch that again and again and again. And lucky for you, Neptune's putting it on.
Exactly. So you can see the show on stage. Just follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it because it is an adaptation of the movie.
Yeah.
Not the book. Well, the book is, but more directly the movie.
Yeah.
Which is a
very exciting.
Great movie.
How are they going to have that house just come crashing down?
Yeah, exactly. How are they going to do it?
Gotta go to find out.
Yes. I've got my tickets. Cannot wait. Anyway, this is an interesting idea. This man has a social media account where he rates pictures of cats from the imagined perspective of other cats. Check it out.
If I were a cat, would I date this cat? Yes, this cat seems very emotionally intelligent. No, this cat seems too sleepy. I'm gonna give this cat the benefit of the doubt and say that they're just being goofy and give it at least one date. No, I feel like you'd make plans with this cat and then they keep just like backing out at the last minute. Yes, this seems like one of those cats that's like socially awkward and it comes off as standoffish, but once you get to know them, they're like super chill.
I don't think he likes orange cats.
Yeah. I actually thought that one cat, if I were a cat, it would definitely want to know more. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday morning. We're back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Bye. Have a great Tuesday.